Most men spend their entire lives in a war they don't even know they started. They hustle harder when things don't work. They push louder when nobody listens. They force, they grind, they white-knuckle their way through every single year, and then they turn 45 and wonder why they feel like they've been running and somehow ended up exactly where they began. I know this feeling personally. A few years ago, I was the hardest working guy in every room I walked into. Up before everyone else, last to leave. I had a plan, I had discipline, and I had absolutely nothing to show for it. And then I found something written by a man who died almost 2,000 years ago, and it broke me open in the best way possible. What I found didn't tell me to work harder. It told me I had been thinking about power completely wrong. These are the 8 Stoic laws that changed everything for me. And if you stay with me until the end, the last one will be the most important thing you hear this year. I promise you that. Before we go further, if this is your first time here, this channel is called Stoic 95. We don't do motivation that evaporates by Tuesday. We build the kind of men who are unmovable. Subscribe right now and hit the bell, because what we're building here is a library of strength, and you don't want to miss a single piece of it. Now, let's get into law number 1.
Here's the thing nobody tells you about effort. Most of it is fear wearing a costume. Think about that for a second. When you're frantically busy, when you're constantly doing something, when you cannot sit still for 5 minutes without checking your phone or your email or your messages, that's not discipline. That's anxiety with a productivity mask on. Marcus Aurelius ran the Roman Empire. He managed wars, famines, plagues, and political betrayal, all at the same time. And in his private journal, a journal he never intended anyone to read, he wrote over and over again about the danger of confusing motion with progress. He wasn't writing that for the public, he was writing it to remind himself. Because even the most powerful man in the world had to fight the urge to just do something, anything, to feel in control. The first Stoic law is this: before you act, ask whether you're moving towards something or running away from something, because those two things look identical from the outside and feel completely different on the inside. When you start moving toward instead of away from, every action you take becomes 10 times more effective. The right moves made calmly will always beat the wrong moves made frantically.
Law number 2 is the one that will make the most uncomfortable men the most successful. It is this: the thing you're chasing can smell your desperation, and it is walking the other direction. I know that sounds unusual. Stay with me. There is a law in human psychology that the Stoics understood long before any scientist put a name to it. When you need something so badly that it consumes your thoughts, you start making decisions from a place of scarcity. You settle for less because you're afraid nothing better is coming. You move too fast in relationships because you're afraid of being alone. You take the wrong opportunity because you're terrified of missing out. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of the greatest teachers in history, said that the man who wants nothing is the freest man alive, because nothing and nobody can threaten him. He didn't mean want nothing in life. He meant stop letting your wants control you. The moment you get genuinely okay with not having the thing yet, the moment you stop needing it to feel whole, you start operating from power instead of desperation. And powerful people attract powerful results. Let that sit with you.
Law number 3 is about something that happens every single morning and is silently destroying the lives of millions of men in this country. When you wake up and the very first thing you do is pick up your phone, you have just handed the keys of your mind to the entire internet. Before you've had a single thought of your own, algorithms are deciding what you're angry about, what you're afraid of, and what you feel like you're missing. Marcus Aurelius had a specific morning practice. He would sit before any conversation, before any responsibility, and he would remind himself of exactly who he was committed to being that day. He called it preparing for difficulty. He would tell himself that, today I will meet people who are selfish, and I will respond with patience. Today, I will face things outside my control, and I will focus only on what I can change. He was loading his mind with his own values before the world got a chance to load it with noise. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you touch your phone, before you speak to anyone, sit for 5 minutes and ask yourself one question. Who do I want to be today? Not what do I want to accomplish. Who do I want to be? That one shift changes the entire quality of your day, every day.
Law number 4 is going to reframe every hard thing that has ever happened to you. And I mean that, every single one. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "The obstacle is the path." Not the obstacle is blocking the path. The obstacle is the path. What this means in real life is this. Every time something goes wrong in your life, it is not the universe punishing you. It is the universe training you. The business that failed gave you the exact knowledge you needed to build the one that would succeed. The relationship that ended showed you exactly what you actually need in a partner. The job that let you go pushed you toward work that actually fits who you are. Every loss is information. Every setback is a lesson wrapped in pain, so you actually pay attention. I spent years treating my failures like evidence that I wasn't good enough. The Stoics would look at that and say, no, your failures are evidence that you're in the process, and the process doesn't end until you stop. Stop treating your hard chapters like mistakes. They are the most important chapters in your story.
Law number 5 is the one that separates the men who are respected from the men who are merely liked. It is the discipline of saying less. The Stoics were obsessed with this. Epictetus taught that you should never open your mouth unless what's coming out is better than silence. That sounds extreme, but think about the people in your life who carry the most authority. The ones whose words actually land when they speak. They are almost never the loudest people in the room. They are the ones who wait, who listen, who choose their words like they cost something. In a world where every person is broadcasting every thought in real time, the man who exercises restraint becomes immediately remarkable. Seneca wrote that the road to wisdom begins with knowing when to stop talking. This week, try speaking 30% less than you normally would. Not because you don't have things to say, but because not everything that can be said needs to be. Watch what people start doing when you're the one who doesn't fill every silence. They lean in, they pay attention, they wonder what you're thinking. Silence is not absence, it is presence of a different kind. Law number 6 is going to sound familiar, but I need you to hear it in a way you probably haven't before. Gratitude in the Stoic tradition is not soft. It is not a journal prompt or a morning affirmation. It is an act of defiance. Marcus Aurelius would regularly remind himself that everyone he loved would die, that everything he owned would eventually be taken or destroyed, that his own body would fail him, not to be dark, but to feel genuine gratitude for what was in front of him right now. He called it negative visualization, and modern psychology has proven it is one of the fastest ways to rewire your brain's filtering system. When you practice real gratitude, not the Instagram version, the visceral kind where you actually feel it, your brain's reticular activating system starts scanning for opportunity instead of threat. You literally start seeing things you were blind to before. The right people, the right timing, the open door you would have walked right past when you were focused on what was missing. Gratitude is not passive, it is a weapon. Use it like one.
Law number 7 is about the single biggest way that men give away their power without realizing it. Every time someone cuts you off in traffic and your whole mood shifts, you gave your power away. Every time a comment online makes you stew for an hour, you gave your power away. Every time your boss says something dismissive and it ruins your evening, you gave your power away. Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by what happens to us, we are disturbed by what we tell ourselves about what happens to us." This is not just philosophy, this is the mechanism behind emotional sovereignty. Between the event and your reaction, there is a gap, and in that gap lives your freedom. The Stoic practice is to widen that gap deliberately every single day. When something hits you wrong, pause for 3 seconds before you respond. In those 3 seconds, ask, is what I'm about to do or say coming from my values or from my ego? That pause is where your power lives. Protect it, because once you stop letting the world decide your emotional state, you become something most people have never seen up close, a man who cannot be rattled. And that man changes every room he walks into.
The 8th law is the one I told you to wait for, and I need you to actually hear this one, not just process it. The law is this: your life is not behind schedule. Stop treating it like it is. We live in a world that has an obsession with timing. By 30, you should have this. By 40, you should be here. By this date, by this milestone, by this number in your bank account. And when you're not there, you carry this quiet feeling of being behind, of being late to your own life. The Stoics called this Amor Fati, love of fate. Not tolerance of fate, not acceptance of fate, love of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that everything that happens is either something you can change or something you cannot. If you can change it, change it. If you cannot, loving it is the only response that doesn't destroy you. The money hasn't arrived yet because you're still being shaped into the man who can actually hold it. The right person hasn't shown up yet because you're still becoming who they need you to be. The breakthrough hasn't come yet because the foundation isn't finished. None of that is punishment. All of it is precision. When you stop fighting the timing of your life and start trusting it, not blindly, but actively while you keep doing the work, everything gets lighter. And when you get lighter, you stop being in your own way. That is when things begin to move.
These 8 laws are not 8 separate ideas. They are one complete picture of what a man looks like when he stops working against himself, when he's operating from clarity instead of panic, from character instead of comparison, from trust instead of tension. That man doesn't have to chase anything. Things come to him because he has become the kind of person that life rewards. Now here's what I want from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, which of these 8 laws hit you the hardest? And what are you going to do about it in the next 24 hours? Not the next week, 24 hours. Because that's how change actually works. One day, one decision, one law at a time. If this video shifted something for you, share it with one man right now who you think needs to hear it. Not because it helps the numbers, because it might genuinely change the direction of someone's life. And if you want to keep building this kind of strength every single week, subscribe to Stoic 95, hit the bell, and stay close. We're just getting started. Stay disciplined, stay dangerous, and I'll see you in the next one.